Hello guys, once again welcome back to another Android application development tutorial. In this video here I'm going to show you in what order the activity lifecycle callback methods are invoked by the system when we launch an activity. So we can create a new Android Studio project, select empty activity and finish. So here the project is created in Android Studio. So here I'm going to create one more activity. So create another activity, select empty activity. I name it as a second activity. So now we have two activities are available in this project. So we are going to test the lifecycle callbacks for the main activity. So now go back to the main activity layout file. So here I add a button, specify the constraints for the button. Sorry for the background noise, I know there are too much noise in the background, sorry for that. So change the button title into start another activity. Okay, so now select that activity and we can specify an on-click method. So I specify the method as start another activity. Okay, so now we need to add one more button. So here I place another button. Again the same thing, specify constraints for the button. Specify the title as finish activity. Okay, also we need some on-click method for the button. I name it as finish activity. Now go to the XML file. So here we got two errors because we need to implement these two methods inside main activity class file. So implement the first method. Now here I implement the second method. Okay, so now the two methods available inside main activity class file. So for here I'm going to display some log message. For that, here create some method, void show log. And for this method we need one parameter, say message. So display some logcat message here. Specify the message tag as lifecycle test and print the message. Okay, so this is the first lifecycle method. So this is the only one method you must implement it within your activity. So in that method, first thing you must call the superclass implementation of this method for creating this activity. So here we call the superclass implementation of that method, and here by using the set content view we connect the class file and the layout file. Okay, so this is the only one method you must implement within your activity. So from that method I'm going to call the show log method on create finish. Okay, so now here I'm going to implement all the other lifecycle callbacks. So here I implement all the other lifecycle callbacks. First one is on start, and here this is the from every lifecycle method you must implement the superclass implementation of that method. So in every method you must call the super keyword from every method. So in order to identify the lifecycle change, we call the show log method with some message on it. Here is the on resume, on pause, on stop, on restart and on destroy method. Okay, so from the start another activity method, as the name indicates, we can start the newly created activity. So call the start activity, new intent, first parameter, second parameter is the class name, second activity dot class. Okay, so from the finish method, here I'm going to finish the activity manually. For finishing an activity manually, you can simply call the finish method. So now we can test it. So one virtual device is ready here. So start the project, run the project, select that virtual device. Oh, we can open the logcat because all the message is showing in the logcat. Yes, our project is now launched in this virtual device. So we can filter the logcat window. Here the message tag is lifecycle test. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, anyway, I will run the project again. So remove it, run the project again. Yeah, this one, lifecycle test. So filter that method. So these are the lifecycle callbacks. So when the activity started for the first time, first method the system called the onCreate callback method. After that the system called the onStart. After the system called the onResume callback method. Okay, so now I'm going to start another activity. So here in this application another activity come into foreground. So here the main activity is not completely visible. So if the activity is not completely visible, the system called the onStop method. So when the new activity come into foreground, first the system called the onPause method, then the system called the onStop method, because here the previous activity is not completely visible. But here the system called the onStop method, but still an instance of that activity is available in the memory. So when I come back to the activity again, the instance is still available. So the system called the onRestart method on that instance, and after onRestart the system called the onResume, so that that activity again come into foreground and the user can interact with it. Okay, so now here I'm going to make another interrupt for the activity. So now here I'm going to make a call to this device. So now here I make a call, I attend that call. So in that case also this is another activity. So that activity come into foreground and our previous activity is not completely visible. So the system called the onStop method. And before call the onStop, the system called the onPause, and after onPause the system called the onStop, but that activity is still in the memory. So when I come back again, the system called the onRestart, and after onRestart it called the onStart, and after onStart it called the onResume method. Okay, so now I'm going to delete the activity manually. So click the finish activity method. In that case the system called the onPause, onStop, and finally called the onDestroy method. So in this case the activity completely removed from the memory. That means the instance of the activity is destroyed. So this is how the system called the lifecycle callbacks of an activity. I hope you understand the concepts of activity lifecycle methods. For getting more Android tutorial updates, please subscribe this channel now. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.